There's your your 100,000 to $500,000 range. This is the let's grab some people and let's grab a video camera and try to go make a movie. Um, Oftentimes, good movies are made by doing that. Um, but there are a lot of things that people are lacking. They're lacking special insurance, and they're lacking, proper workman's comp, and they're lacking. They're putting themselves in an environment that could open them up to a whole world of liability. But they're so focused on getting their project done that that's what they do, and that's what I call um, the low budget, or the super low budget range. Um, from about 500,000 to about 700,000, it's just a half a step up from that. But from 700,000 to about 2 million, that's a different range altogether. That's that's what I call uh, your no joke low budget. It's typically a pretty big project that they're going to shoot anywhere from 12 to 18 days, and more than likely that's a direct to video or direct to DVD shoot, and the market's already set up, their distribution's already set up. I'm trying to think of the term that I use all the time. Um, they're typically not good movies. They're not very good movies. They're low budget action movies, or what have you. From about 2 million to about 5, maybe from about 2 million to 7 million, this is just a really comfortable range to work in, I think. If you prep it right, this is the true low budget filmmaking. And I say filmmaking because you can actually use 35 millimeter film and use it to your advantage, and actually put a really good storyline and shoot maybe 18 to maybe 30 days, depending on how good you are at juggling. And it's a really comfortable range because typically you'll have some money to throw at things. What's hard about anything that's under $2 million is your budget is so tight that if something happens, you're going to look at post, or you're going to look at somewhere else in the budget to pull from to cover it. Um, a lot of times there's no money left for contingency in those budgets. Once you get in the higher realm, though, something that comes up, obviously you have more time to prep, uh, and you have more time to shoot, and more time to come up with a concept. Um, and 7 to 10 million, that's when I start thinking you're getting into the real studio films. And studio films are just a whole other ball game. You're throwing money at talent, you're throwing money at problems. They have line items for Starbucks runs. I mean, um, you should always consult a post person about your budget before you start shooting, to make sure that you're real, make sure that you're on course. I do it myself. I don't know post nearly as well as I should. There are a lot of people like myself that just kind of throw money in certain areas because that's what we've always done, and we've typically made it work. But when you can consult a post supervisor ahead of time and they can give you a real budget, they can explain to you what you are going to need for certain shots, for certain effects, for certain, um, I mean, there are a lot of times there are things that we don't think of. A post supervisor can typically point out, hey, you notice you got a television in the background. That's got to be a 24 frame playback television. Otherwise, you're going to see one of those lines that goes up when you're filming because the frame rate's not the same as what's on the TV. A post supervisor, a good AD will catch that, but a post supervisor is trained to look at every aspect of the script to make sure that the production has got everything scheduled and budgeted properly so that the post is not affected.
The amount of money that you have to spend on sound and post-production on a low budget is usually a lot higher than it is on like a high budget film. The problem is that people do not pay any attention to sound when they're shooting it on the set, so they have to go back and fix the sound in post-production. I'd say a minimum on any film, a minimum of 10% on a low budget film. But it depends. 10% of 25,000 is not much money to go in and work on the sound. 10% of 100,000, 10,000 is a very, very tight budget for a film, for doing post-production sound. Because when you're doing your sound, you not only have to recut all the dialogue, recut the Foley, cut the effects, you have to go in and mix all this stuff on a mixing stage.